So check this out. I was cleaning up around my beautiful house with my beautiful wife, sorting through my various transforming robot paraphernalia, when I came across this guy. 2008 BotCon Shattered Glass Megatron. I'm not bragging or anything, but sometimes it escapes me just how big my collection has grown. There's my room for one, which is more of a shrine. Then on the other side of that wall to my room, there's this area, which I like to refer to as the Rec Room, which is an abbreviation for Robot Entrapment Center. And lest I forget, there's this room, which I refer to as the Motherlode, where about half my collection is stashed away so far, and where ultimately all my stuff is eventually going to end up, so I can make more room in my house for more robots. Oh look, there's me. Wave to the camera, fatty. So the whole point of that story? I got Shattered Glass Megatron. Possibly the only toy in my collection that makes me say, what the hell is it? So there's bound to be someone out there who doesn't know this, but the theme for 2008's BotCon was called Shattered Glass, which meant the Decepticons were the good guys and the Autobots were the bad guys. Which means in the Shattered Glass dimension, this Megatron is the heroic leader of the Decepticons. But most of the time just abbreviated as SG Megatron, which really makes me titter, because that could mean either Shattered Glass Megatron or Suicide Girls Megatron. But one WTF at a time. Let's get this tank off this plane like an A-Team movie. So just looking at Megatron by himself, I noticed the hunched wing design and the elongated cockpit with massive forward-facing firepower. I'm reminded of how much a Trekkie I am, because that looks like a Klingon bird of prey. And if you think Megatron still doesn't have enough nerd cred for you, well then he's got this one feature where you lift up his wings, and he turns into a Star Wars X-Wing fighter. It's like someone's fanfiction come to life. Something else I would never bother mentioning, but obviously they put a lot of detail into, is the really beefy landing gear. Well, that came as a shock. This landing gear actually has sculpted detail. I can make out pistons and everything on there. One thing I can genuinely say that bothers me about this toy is the fact that Megatron's head is right there. Right there. Wow, really? That's not a robot in disguise. That's how my little cousins play hide and go seek. Where's Megatron? I can't seem to find... Oh, there you are. Yay. Then, of course, there's the other detail which makes this Shattered Glass Megatron, which is the BotCon color scheme. From stem to stern, Megatron is mostly just a black and light gray color scheme with some occasional touches of silver. Just like you expect any Megatron toy to have. But then you get things like sapphire blue weaponry, which you would usually expect to be a menacing purple. And then there are the touches of the red, which are just warm and really make this Decepticon logo look interesting. So BotCon gets a kudos from me. Even though this is the Megatron mold, and all the story fiction for Shattered Glass says this is Megatron, I can believe this is a different character. And then the other half to Suicide Girls Megatron is Armada Megatron. There's not much this Maxi Minicon can do on his own, really. I mean, he can fire the missile, and you can flip up the targeting reticule like you could on the Armada toy. And he rolls. Besides that, the only thing different about him is the paint scheme that matches SG Megatron. So, moving on. So one transformation later, what do you get? Well, Blue Eyes himself, Megatron. This might be the easiest Voyager class toy I've ever transformed. It's half automorph and half moving this big nose section out of the way. Now in robot mode, one of the things really helping to sell me on old Buckethead here being one of the good guys are the blue eyes. It's classical details like that, and of course a different deco, that really helped me sell the fact that maybe he's just a little benevolent. But not too much. Because I also noticed his spark crystal right there still has Decepticon purple in it. Little bit of a mean streak in you, SG Megatron. But then of course we must speak of Megatron just as a toy. Well, he comes from the Unicron lineup of stuff, but no Cyberplanet or Minicon gimmick. Then again, there are problems like he's so Japanese with things like this, and this, that he blocks his own articulation from doing too much. Although you do get a lot of nice ratchety sounds. It's like dubstep. And it wouldn't be Megatron without that signature cannon arm, which is where the tank comes in. It has a fold-out clamp on the bottom, which you can peg onto either arm. Ha! That's badass. Megatron wielding Megatron. Now as far as storing accessories goes, that might seem a little redonkulous since it's just a tank sticking straight up out of Megatron's back. But wait, it serves a purpose because it can also reveal A hidden energon sword sheathed in the back. Raise your hands. Who else finds a black tank with a protruding energon sword on its back? Pretty metal. Knife tank! Knife tank! Now the only problem I can see with this weapon, which seems to have been delivered from the gods of metal, is the fact that you have to choose between shooting your opponent and stabbing them. It would have been great if the barrel of the tank could have flipped over, forming some sort of crude bayonet. Well, apparently we can't have it both ways. Thank God for over-the-shoulder mounted cannons. Die, Autobots. I think I've made my point here. He's a clunker, but a keeper. He's a sci-fi hero hodgepodge, but also a misunderstood hero. He's evil, yet good. Black, yet white. He's down, but up. Left, but right. Special thanks go to my newest subs, Ms. 2020, Dowso, and A1 and all. Gentlemen, thank you for subscribing, and also, Megatron's not evil. He's just misunderstood.